From YouTube to smartphones to tablets, tech is just a part of our kids' lives. Like the moment they come out of the womb, it feels like. AI chatbots are also a part of that mix now. While parents strive to manage screens, 42% say they could do better, according to Pew Research. So how do you manage the screens? We bring in our 9 News parenting expert, Dr. Sheryl Ziegler, with the findings of a new research study by Pew Research and what's going on with parents right now. How early does this kind of smartphones, tablet, whatever use begin?
Well, it's really interesting. Even that stat about like how many parents say they could do a better job. If you look at it, the research then said if they only had 11 or 12-year-olds, that jumps to almost 70% of parents said, I could be doing a better job.
Yeah.
So every year it just gets harder. It doesn't get easier, it gets harder. So what's going on? Basically, kids are coming out, and I shouldn't say kids, babies are coming into the world. They see the human beings around them constantly on this screen. And it's pretty, they grab, because they grab for anything, your car keys or your phone in your hand. And before they know it, they're around there. And so we have babies, right? Really, truly babies and early toddlers under the age of 2, looking at YouTube, being on the tablets, being on a parent's phone. It's starting really young, and it only gets more challenging and more complex as they get older.
Ironically, there was a video circulating on social media a while back. Remember that baby who was trying to do this to,
oh, yeah.
Was trying to
like a book or something?
A book.
Yes.
And that was remarkable, and that kind of, I'm wondering, does it get earlier and earlier? Because when my kids were little, they're a little older now, but when they were little, it was right around 6th grade that you wanted to hand them a phone for safety's sake and because that's how they were starting to communicate.
Absolutely. When we look at the stats, the amount of kids who have their own phones. So there were lots of stats in the study. I don't want to get it wrong, but there's around 40-50% of kids, right, 10 and under who have their own phones. And my stats from my book say by 12 years old, about 75%. I think this one said 7 out of 10, 70 to 75% have their own by 12. So that's usually 6th grade, maybe the beginning, 5th grade or 6th. So middle school, we've got a vast majority of kids. And when you have a screen, because sometimes we conflate the two, there are screens and there are social media. But I do want to say this was about screens, but what are they looking at on the screens, right?
Social media.
Social media. And the first social media app that we know there is by and large is YouTube. I want to always remind people YouTube is a social media app.
Right, and they're addicted to that at a very young age.
Yes.
So when we talk about young kids, what platforms are they most driven to right now?
So it starts with the YouTube, and then it goes on to usually, then they'll do games, right? So then there's all these social games, everything from Roblox, and then they go over to TikTok. So TikTok gets lower. And what happens is in middle school, a lot of times they are done with group chats. So you think, okay, I gave them the phone, but on my tablet, I can see what they're doing on a group chat. That starts to end somewhere in middle school, 7th or 8th grade, and then they're on Snapchat. And then at that point,
and then you're out.
You're out.
That's when it's the worst.
You're out.
You're
I
out.
remember my wife and I panicked at that point because then you can't monitor anything. It's not like in a weird way. It's just you want to be able to keep them safe.
Yes.
And that is really the first time you.
Yeah, it's like you're way in over your heads, parents. And so parents are saying that this study said they wish that lawmakers, they wish that tech companies would do more because there hits a limit where they really just don't know what to do anymore. They're completely overwhelmed. The other thing I thought was really interesting about the study was the majority of them said, yes, we have a social media plan or a screen time limits in place. And then it was like, how many of you actually enforce it? It was less than 20%. Right.
Yeah. And then it always goes back to like when your kids are with other kids.
Yes.
And different roles in a different house.
Oh, that's bad too.
Oh, yeah,
because
that's
the behavior
worst.
comes home.
Yes.
Time and a place for everything, I think, is all you can really do.
Right, and moderation and monitoring and all of the things. But yes, the point is, this is very hard for every parent.
Yes, it is.
All right, pay attention. Dr. Ziegler, we could talk forever about that. Okay, thank you.